But there's been a lot of talk in the industry about taking, there's a couple manufacturers that I don't want to mention by name publicly, that we wouldn't touch ever. Everything from the product itself, the service, the warranty. I don't know if you've actually seen it, but I've been to a couple homes where all the windows or all the glass is like a hot pink. It's a defectiveness in the composition of the inner layer that actually changes the tint or the hue of the glass, and it is, I mean, as red as this bottle is, that's how pink their windows are, and it is absolutely terrible. So two of those manufacturers that come to mind, I won't name them. What I've heard in the industry is that there are some companies that are buying these windows, taking labels from a known trusted brand, taking the product approval sticker and putting it on the lower quality window, and then installing that in people's homes. And I mean, that's tough. You have a window that has the product approval, it has, somehow they went to a manufacturer, Mr. Glass, ESW, they have a friend, a cousin, whoever works on the inside, just gets them the stickers, or they counterfeit it. They put the sticker on the window, without somebody that is a product specialist or the manufacturer themselves, which if somebody ever did run into a situation where they weren't sure if somebody sold them counterfeit windows, you can contact us and I can get the manufacturer's rep to go and take a look at it. They'll be able to identify, is that the manufacturer's product or is that a competitor's product, or, quote unquote competitor's product. Have you seen or heard anything about that, or has that come up?
I have not seen these windows in my recent experience, but it is very common. There were, for a while, square D breakers were being counterfeited.
Wow.
And that can be a big problem,
Yeah, that's a fire hazard right there.
Yeah, the breaker's fine. Even when you tell a homeowner, I've never had a problem with it yet. It's what can I say? It's trying to save $2 or $3. That's the wrong place to try to save money like that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And what I always tell people, the same thing I have the conversation with about hurricane straps is, buying false peace of mind is not buying peace of mind. So a lot of people are price driven, and I understand it. We're not always going to be the cheapest, and I don't want to be the cheapest, but just getting with a company that is going to stand behind their product, care about the install, learn from their mistakes, and is not afraid to admit when they're wrong and go back and fix something. In that case, as you mentioned, with the other contractor, that's a quality of a good construction company, I would say.
Well, and that's sort of like the way I feel about the big box store that I mentioned. That was a happy ending. They went and finally, but now they have what should be available after some time of not having that.
So when you hear the phrase defective work, what does that actually mean in the real world to you?
Well, aside from poor workmanship or terms you hear like failure to meet industry standards, it's more easily defined in my world as failure to comply with the manufacturer's installation instructions and failure to comply with the code.
Yeah, so it's interesting. A short story. And I'll try to limit them, but back in the general construction days. So anyway, we had this homeowner that we were working for, and we just kept coming back, and it was just like the punch list never ended. We would go, we would do the touch-ups that they requested, and then they'd call us back again and again and again and again. And literally after like the fifth or sixth time, and every time we went, we satisfied the punch list. I didn't know enough at the time and how to defend myself and basically say set a limit on how many quote unquote punch lists I was doing. One of the times that we were there, one of my guys walked into her bedroom, and they found her with the curtains closed, with a lantern and a magnifying glass and a roll of blue tape, and she was putting blue tape on grout lines. And so that taught us a very good lesson in regards to like setting standards of what is acceptable. Obviously, you're going to have some people that want things done a little bit better, but that also comes with a cost and a different level of finish versus this is like what is acceptable as standard. 6 feet away from the subject under normal lighting conditions. So you can't be on your hands and knees with a magnifying glass and a flashlight. So how do you set that standard in regards to, what is acceptable, or set those expectations with the homeowner as to, this is acceptable versus you may be asking for a little bit too much here?
Well, to me, there's a significant difference between work that does not conform to the code or to the installation instructions, and it's convenient to refer to the code, because if you go back to chapter 35, you'll find all of the different references that they use. They reference ANSI standards, they reference the electric code, ASTM. So those are all in there. But for cosmetic or aesthetic concerns, I do note things like, if, for example, I'm inspecting the bathroom and I see that they must have put the toilet tank in before they finished painting the wall. We'll note something like that. And then, of course, things like cracked tiles. But for the most part, I want the person who's going to be living with that work, for them to perform the aesthetic review, because they're the ones that are going to have to live with it. And for me, if I see something where a homeowner is particularly ambitious or
That was very politically correct of you.
aspirational to the thoughts of how much more the contractor would do for them, it comes down to common sense. It really does. Like, if you were in front of a jury and you could document the woman with the flashlight and the magnifying glass,
Yeah.
she would get nowhere.
Oh, of course, yeah. Had I known then what I know now.
I tell my clients to be as nice as they can for as long as they can to the contractor, and that's your best chance of getting them to do all the things you think they need to do. But the same goes for the contractor. He's going to be as nice as he can for as long as he can. But if you're unreasonable, you're never going to be happy anyway. So once you discover that there's no way to make a client happy about something, you're going to be closer to just walking away and not suffer any additional consequences. Some percent of the population, I think, is just they get up every morning and their goal is to find something to complain about.
Yeah.
It's mostly common sense for me. If I don't think the homeowner is going to see the problem with the wall behind the toilet not being painted, I'm gonna mention that. But I'm not going to point out things that they'll never see, that they may see forever, and it will annoy them.